All the people, Uganda, we were the first people who rejected the question of ICC, and we created a special division of the High Court. My efforts to go into the jungle of Congo to look for coin brought peace. My people in northern Uganda sleep. President Museveni knows, he's watching now. He knows it was my contribution, the contribution of Rugunda, the contribution of international community, the EU. I left my comfortable life, my home in the United Kingdom to look for a man who had killed people, brought him on table. Peace has returned.
Where is he today? Where is he today?
I don't know.
Most Kenyans wonder why he's not in Uganda. Most Kenyans suspect you cannot go to Uganda.
No. I'm just Uganda. And I like you who
activism.
You hate Museveni.
No,
because
I hate bad leadership and I hate tariffs.
Yes,
and you know I protested him.
If you hate Museveni,
Jeff was there.
hate him?
I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
They carried you out the room.
Let me ask one question.
Go on.
If this guy hates Museveni, if you going to fight him, why do you want me to fight him?
I'm not here to the extent that I can.
Okay. Are you voting next month in Uganda?
No. What for? Who told you that I'm a Ugandan voter?
See?
I'm an international community man. I live in the United Kingdom.
You live in Intercon Hotel.
Don't be hating, somebody.
I leave my home. Taxes are paid. I pay to Her Majesty my money. And I work
Her Majesty?
Yes, that's my home. You leave a place 29 years and you call it
What are you doing here?
I am working.
So you're voting in Kenya next year then?
What? I am not a Kenyan.
Matsanga has a lot of energy.
Do I have a fraudulent ID? Like some of these people might
Matsanga has a lot of energy, but he needs to channel it the right way.
Yes.
You know there's a recording going around.
Yes.
You know, let's talk truth here.
Yeah.
Of him involved in a discussion on a murder plot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Come on,
with
man.
who? With Alai?
With Korea and
why don't you attack Alai?
I'm not attacking anybody.
If you go that route, I think it is better you stick to
No, that's why there's a lot of concern about what you're doing here.
You must. Am I not supposed to travel?
Do
I have a problem?
Issues.
All right.
No,
Gentlemen,
what is your problem?
Gentlemen, don't make me use this.
Even Kenyan
don't make me use this.
No, it looks like you have a problem.
All right, let's come back to what
my problem is lies and
you lie.
I don't
because you lie on behalf of Americans.
Let's come back to what Benji said before the break.
I'm not an American puppet like you.
No, I'm not.
You're an English puppet. Are you an English puppet?
Exactly. You lived in the
English.
UK.
I oppose the English. When they attacked Mugabe, I opposed.
But you live in England.
Yes, it is allowed. It's a democratic country.
Where's the camera? This is Mugabe.
What is
that's
wrong?
your camera there.
This is Mugabe.
These are the
ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens when you play around in a country and you're not willing to focus.
How much money is this?
Do you know that?
$250 million, which can buy a soda.
Where?
We don't want Kenya to go that way.
Where?
And I'm not going to sit in my house as the country goes crazy and a Ugandan is here yelling
there is
at the
no
top of his lungs.
Don't use
this is what happens.
Don't use the language yelling. Use very good English.
It is.
Yelling is not
Republic of Zimbabwe. This is what we're avoiding. Let me tell you, Jeff, our currency is weak now.
Jeff,
our currency is weak.
Do you want to control this debate?
Our currency is
you allow
weak.
This man.
And we thank God for Dr. Patrick Joroge because he's a good guy.
You have a wife.
And oil. And
you
oil
have
is
a wife.
Oil is at the lowest.
Gentlemen.
Oil is at the lowest.
Gentlemen.
And where's the energy minister?
Okay.
Traipsing in the Hague.
Benji.
We need leadership.
Let's come back to ICC. Ruto saying, before the break, you said, if this thing goes south, if Ruto is has to stand trial, right? That means he may have to come back here and stand for president. Is that what you're saying?
As a means to ward off the case, yes.
He could stand. Because
the president with Uhuru Kenyatta said it worked, so he probably would want to stand.
Against the president?
Probably against the president. I mean, he wants to save his own skin, his own life. So tomorrow is going to be a deal breaker. And this is all bad for the country. And this is the truth.
Matsanga, do you think so?
Maybe that's why Governor Ruto is doing all these funny things that he's doing. And I'll just go out on a limb and say, I've got a complaint from an organization in the UK that procured services from Bomet County 2 years ago, and the governor's refused to pay, and he's my friend. And this is the kind of thing that we do not like. How do you think we look to the international community if we can procure services, all right, and refuse to pay?
Matsanga.
You are using my word again?
Yeah, procure.
Yes.
Matsanga, real quick.
In the right way.
Real quick. Could Ruto run in 17?
I think Ruto and Uhuru are united.
He'll do anything to save his skin.
Can you save me from this guy? Is he shouting or talking?
Are you shouting?
No, let's debate.
Go on.
Ruto is a great friend of Uhuru. Ruto is very, very, very staunch supporter of Jubilee. Jubilee has formed an alliance. Come next, whatever. The only problem that Ruto has is that he doesn't listen at times. one of the problems that I told him, and I've said when I sat somewhere in The Hague with him, this case is a political case. Let's take politics in it. But unfortunately, he has been told, don't, he has a competent team. But I don't think Ruto is going to stand on his own.
So you think he'll take the medicine?
Yes.
You think he'll take it all the way?
Oh, yeah, he will come. We shall have to deal. They are my friends. I am a friend of the Jubilee, most of them are my friends.
You're almost your confession.
Yes,
you're
they are my
almost
friends.
a sycophant, Matsanga, but that's another story.
Sycophants is different from friendship.
Come on.
If I found
I didn't want to say it, you said it.
Let me tell you, I found you in Sudan when General Bashir wanted to slaughter you. Was I a sycophant to save you? No.
Oh, I'm sorry. So now you're a savior?
I went to General Bashir and said, the man you are said you want to cut the throat is a
Why
Kenyan.
are you always deviating from the subject?
So
Let's come back to
because
Ruto.
when
How
you
does
like,
he know all these
look,
tyrants?
I know.
Is my
When
question.
you like somebody, they call you a sycophant. Like him. When you like Kalonzo, do they call you a sycophant?
Yes,
of
they
Kalonzo?
do.
like Kalonzo?
Yes, they do.
Yes.
They call him a coward sycophant.
I am not a sycophant of President Uhuru Kenyatta.
I'm not anybody's
I am a
sycophant.
friend of President Uhuru Kenyatta. I've never,
I'm a friend of everybody.
Even if I've never gone there for tea, sir.
Yeah, thank
but
you.
he's still my
Thanks
friend.
for not answering the question because you have
Exactly.
no idea about it
No,
anyway. We're talking about scenarios.
Scenario is very clear. Ruto will remain in Jubilee. Come sunshine, come rain, we shall defend, we shall defeat ICC politically. I'm waiting for this outcome. I will go to the AU. I will shout. I always shout. You know, my noise makes some difference.
Okay, Benji, Cord, is this former Prime Minister Rao's last hurrah? Is this the his very last chance?
It is. Absolutely, 2017 is. And he's got major problems.
Yeah.
And unlike Matsanga, I'm not on either side. I'm for Kenyans. I'm right down the middle. If you see my tweets to Rao today, any messages to his office, etc. Yes. It's, I know he calls a meeting of church elders. Anybody knows he's not really, you know, do you see Raila in church anywhere? And he's like, praise the Lord, praise the Lord. This is all cheap politicking, doesn't get us anywhere. Who's putting the country first? A lot of the opposition just want power just to get Jubilee out. That's not an agenda. The problem with this country, I heard a lady here talking about rebasing the economy, and the 791, she's talking about millions. Okay? So there's a lot of theft going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of misrepresentation going on. There's a lot of lies. And the accusations are fast and furious on both sides.
Head to head.
Wetangula's not in Jubilee. He's got corruption allegations.
Yeah.
This is all sickening. It's ridiculous, and it's wrong, and it's the average Kenyan that suffers.
The next election, is it a foregone conclusion?
It's not a foregone anything, especially if Ruto's running for president, which he might.
Which Matsanga doesn't want to comment about.
No. I want to comment, but I want to comment in a civilized manner. One, the case of Ruto is in court. Let's wait for the outcome.
Please.
Two,
come on.
Ruto has not indicated to anybody that he's leaving. If he is
Matsanga,
leaving...
these are scenarios. We're just talking.
Okay, let's
we're
look
just
at the
talking.
scenario. Let's first of all look at the scenario of Kenyans.
If things go bad for Ruto, what does he do?
Look, let's look for what do we do to maintain the peace that Kenya has had
and progress.
I'm going to talk as an elder here, and I think give me a chance. How do we maintain the peace? Let's not think of scenarios that can bring problems. How do we maintain the peace that has been in the Rift Valley? That last year, 2013, we voted without any violence. We need people to come back home. Let politics take them off instead of a flawed process that Ruto is undergoing through today, taking him. It will create us backlash in the Rift Valley. Two, it is very clear that when you look at the opposition today, talk about the Eurobond, we have created institutions. Why don't we allow the institutions to do their work? Why should a leader of opposition run around everywhere like a Changarai? In fact, this guy looks like Morgan Changarai of Zimbabwe, the one I hated. He runs everywhere. On this, today is with the church, the other day is with this, tomorrow he's going to bring bedroom politics.
So you think he doesn't have a list of the Eurobond thieves?
I know Raila for 32 years. He does not have. If he had it, Raila, a gorilla leader of Mwakenya, whom I know, would have already brought this.
Is there anyone you don't know?
I know him because I've been in the battlefield.
The fact that 200 billion shillings The fact that there's even any suspicion of theft of this money, any malfeasance of this money, that in itself tells you that we have a deficit of leadership, we have a deficit of integrity, and it is absolutely wrong. This is a copy of the summary of a report of Auditor General 2013-2014. I didn't write this, all right? This is a public document. Failure to transfer proceeds from the sovereign bond to the National Exchequer account, contrary to the Constitution. Article 229, 228, Control of Budget role and Auditor General role. There's been also a lot of rewriting of the Constitution led by Duale and Speaker Justin Muturi, and these guys are taking bills through Njem Muturi to the president that are basically dismantling the Constitution. Am I right? Do I write all the newspapers? Do I make all the stories?
Yeah, but we can't rewrite the Constitution, you know that, without referendum. You know,
well,
you can't do
but
that.
That's what they're doing through the back door, through legislation in Parliament. And you know who I blame for this? Yes. I blame Raila. Because we really now don't have a functioning democracy when the opposition, all they can do is cry and moan and lament. Yeah. So this is very hopeless for Kenyans, and it's at the expense of taxpayers, at the expense of the progress of the country. I saw another guy here talking about Maendeleo Chap Chap, and then he's opening an office in Taveta. I was in Machakos today when you called me, in Tala. When Tala rains, it's like Lake Victoria. It's flooding. There's jobless youth everywhere. This is all ridiculous. People are playing for their own selfish gain. And this is rubbish politics.
Terrible.
Eating on behalf of others.
On the question of corruption, I tend to agree with this young brother of mine that I hate corruption. That's why you'll not find me in any scandal of any government institution.
I want Jeff to read this loudly. I want Jeff to read this loudly. Because this is not a Sunday school class. Authority of... Read it.
I did not know that.
No, 1 second.
Hold on. Authority of the controller of budget to incur the expenditure was, however, not obtained.
Did I write that?
Okay. I am told...
We've got to respect and uphold the Constitution.
I now can conclude. I was told during daytime that my brother has under consultants in the Auditor General's office.
Under consultant?
told, yeah, people told me they saw you there so many times.
Okay,
but that is very good.
I go so many places so many times.
That is very good.
What consultancy is this?
The only thing that we need...
What consultancy is
this? Let's not politicize...
What consultancy is this?
Look here, Jeff.
Constitution.
Jeff. Let's not politicize...
Benjin
To Benjin Dolo.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for your message from Chief Justice.
Yes. Let's not politicize...
This is this year.
Let me be very honest. Let's not politicize corruption. Because indeed, the government, the people of Kenya, there are some people in this country who don't have food to eat. They can't even afford it.
That is the point.
Now, if we go on allowing people to take huge money and take it actually not small, huge, and you feel the money has gone, is not very good. But when
you take the money, you're a whistleblower?
Yes, when a man becomes a whistleblower, a judge, an investigator, a prosecutor, then a hangman, you know, Dr. Raila Odinga has become 3 of those. He is everywhere. He wants a whistleblower. He said he has the names. We asked for the names. It made me be called the worst communicator of the year because I talked about Eurobond, that the names have not come up to today. Now, that type of politics, leave it to Ouko. I can accept and be honest that such a document from the Office of the Auditor General gives more credit to Kenyans than someone single-handedly wanting to do all.
Matanga, Ben Ombima says this guy should go back to Uganda.
Is Uganda the only place on earth to live?
Okay, speaking of Uganda, there's a tweet here from Yoweri Museveni. I don't know if it's the real guy.
No, that is
that a parody?
A parody, yes.
Okay.
Don't read the parody. Museveni cannot even mention my name.
Well, he did.
No, he can't. That's a parody.
It says David Matsanga will talk about the ICC until his pants are soaked in sweat.
Yes, because they say I saved him. How do you know he's not on the list?
Who?
Him, Museveni, who's writing.
What list?
Oh, yes.
Waki?
Ocampo. No, not Waki. The Uganda list. Uganda had 2 lists. You didn't know?
Were you on that list?
No, not me. Not me.
Well, you're going to be on the Kenya list, aren't you?
Don't worry. I am always ready.
Rate.
You know,
at this rate.
Him and Baraza and a couple of other cats.
At this rate, with my children grown up and I have good grandchildren, unlike my friend.
And you know there's no statute of limitations.
No, there isn't.
They can get you 30 years later.
No, I can go. I can go.